I want to talk price extreme, okay? But you just gotta let me do it my way. All right. I'm gonna give you a couple of symbols, and I want to talk the intersection of government dollars and price extreme. We're gonna be actionable, and we'll mix in a little story time here and there. You guys down with this?
Sure. I'm ready.
That did not sound very enthusiastic, but we're gonna do this anyway. I couldn't help. I don't know if you guys saw this, that the Harris administration, their aides sort of floated that they were in support of policies to expand the crypto industry, which makes 3 out of 3 politicians that are in support of the crypto industry. And I thought to myself, why should the crypto bros be the only people benefiting off of campaign promises? So I bring to you my little campaign promise bet. I thought, like, what community's next? If you need votes and we've got a tight race, where are they going to go next? And I thought to myself, you know what? The one that always happens every election and every midterm is they start talking about marijuana inevitably at some point. So I thought to myself, if 68% of the public believes that we should legalize this bad boy, is this a tradable instrument? And MSOS just happens to be a little bit of a low price extreme. I'm going to tell you what the catalysts are from the political point of view. You guys tell me what you think about the instrument, the liquidity in the options market. From the catalyst point of view, there are 3 potential catalysts behind marijuana. They've been there for a long time, but it seems we're closer than ever. The first is, of course, rescheduling this thing from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. There was a rule introduced. It was opened up for public comment. That comment window closed, I believe, at the end of last month. The second thing is the SAFER Act. The SAFER Act would basically reform financial regulations to make financing a little bit easier. Basically, it won't scare banks away from financing deals in this space. And the third is a really big one, which is uplisting, the potential to move some of these cannabis companies off of over-the-counter and onto actual exchanges, listed exchanges like NYSE and NASDAQ. And from a lot of the people that I talk to, uplisting is a really, really big one, because now you're moving into a place where you can potentially attract institutional capital. So whatever the catalysts are, it seems like every election time we inevitably get some campaign promises around marijuana. So gentlemen, MSOS is the symbol on my screen, and I'm playing it because I want to benefit off of these empty campaign promises too. What say you, gentlemen?
First of all, MSOS it hasn't done anything in forever. I traded it like
right. It's
last
brutal.
year.
It's been a brutal trade.
It's a brutal trade. I want to say I sold the 9 puts or the 8 puts or the 7 puts. I don't even remember the last time I traded it. The only thing I like about the whole story on cannabis is that it's been so dead for so long. I can't even remember the symbols of the other stocks we used to trade.
Tilray, Aurora.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They're out there.
Well, they're all dead stocks, right? I mean, they're all on or near their lows with no volatility to them. I don't know. I think you're barking up a tree here.
I knew Tony would like the direction I was going. Tony knows those politicians. He knows what they do to get votes. Tom, what say you?
I think cannabis is, I'm going to say it again. Cannabis has been dead for so long that somebody is going to pick the bottom. Maybe it's you. When I say the bottom, somebody's going to pick the low point in interest, and at some point you'll get a crappy little rally of a couple of dollars. You might get to 10, 11, 12, and maybe it's worth it to lean a little bit long, because eventually the sellers will be done with, or they'll run out of sellers. I don't think this is anything to do with, this is not about politics. This is not about policy. This is about a group that got so overhyped that it took literally 5 years to unwind the hype.
Can I throw another little monkey wrench in here for you, Victor? I mean, most of these are not U.S.-based stocks, right?
The ones in MSOS are primarily multi-state operators. So those are this one has a little bit more U.S. lean, but you're right. The other ones are going to be your Canadian cannabis companies, which is why I bring this one up.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, lukewarm, but Tom is leaning in and he didn't roll his eyes, so I think we're good. I'm going to go on to the second one. The second price extreme I want to talk to you gentlemen about is Intel. Intel sitting at relative lows here. They, of course, were notorious for receiving dollars from the government in the CHIPS Act, $8.5 billion in cash, about $25 billion in tax credits, I think about $11 billion in favorable loans. So add all that up, you're somewhere in the ballpark of $40 billion cash and credits. And all they had to do, all we wanted them to do is build some redundancy in our chip manufacturing and add 10,000 jobs to our economy over 10 years. Well, so far they've fired 15% of the workforce, which is 15,000 people, and they've cut their dividend. We're now sitting at lows. Gentlemen, Intel at a price extreme low Is this interesting to you in any way, shape, or form as an extreme?
Sadnov, tell him what you told me earlier. What's your impression of Intel, which he happens to be long, by the way. What do you fear Intel is becoming?
So, as a contrarian, Vic, I'm long Intel, but as a trader, I fear it's Ford.
IBM? Oh,
Ford. No, worse.
This is what is the thought that was in my mind, Tom. Like, are we kind of pot committed as taxpayers? Once you put that much money into the company, aren't we pot committed at this point?
I mean, is Intel too big to fail is what you're asking.
Basically, have we put too much money into this thing that we got to continue to throw dollars at it? I don't know. I'm just having some fun here. We can go on to the next symbol if you want.
I mean, competition-wise, the answer is probably yes, and Intel's probably not going to fail. But, from a trader perspective, I think I speak for a lot of traders and institutional investors that are actually sitting around long Intel. And I don't think the stock it's going to take multiple quarters for that stock to get back into the 30 handle. It's going to take quite some time. I mean, this is not going to be a meme stock. This is not Chewy. It's going to spend multiple quarters it's going to be ugly for quite some time. Yes, Intel will have another run, but again, it's all timing. I'm not interested. I'm long it, but I'm not interested.
That's fair. I wouldn't put it past this Reddit crowd. I think the Reddit crowd can move mountains if they put their minds to it. Next one, gentlemen. Next price extreme is the opposite. We're going up top. Palantir, PLTR, trading at and near highs. This one of Peter Thiel's darling companies, effectively government contractor, selling algorithms and solving probably pre-crime. Eventually, they're going to figure out which one of us is thinking about crime and put us in jail before we do it. I'm being facetious, of course. Palantir at highs here. It's had a massive run. From a contrarian standpoint, would you fade this bad boy?
I probably wouldn't fade Palantir. It's an interesting battle between the CEO and Richard Thiel. They're trying to throw him out or something. They definitely have issues. I think the company's bigger than their issues. I don't have a position on it there. I haven't traded it for quite some time. I would rather buy it on dips than sell it on rallies. Let's put it that way. I don't know enough about this company, but I've traded it from the long side.
I've never known Thomas Sosnoff to care what a company does. He needs the symbol, he needs the price, and he needs volatility.
No. I understand that, but it's one of these companies that scares me in the sense that it's got a real lot of upside skew, real lot of upside call skew. Like when I said Intel can't be a meme stock, Palantir certainly could be.
100% agree with that.
I'm a little pissed I missed Palantir to the upside. It was a stock that had a lot of promise, a lot of talk, had a lot of kids behind it, from $15 to $32, $33 where it is today. I'm a little disappointed in my.
I mean, you could have bought. I bought it after their IPO in the 9 handle. I mean, it wasn't. Right. It was for sale.
It stayed there forever. I know.
All right, next one is a little bit less about government dollars, but it's J.P. Morgan is at highs. I guess the read through from me is if you sort of believe where we're headed is we're going to get out of this yield curve inversion, we're going to move towards a steeper yield curve. That's probably net positive for banks and cyclicals in some way. I don't know. There's an opposite way to read that as well. It seems like the marketplace has priced a lot of that into financials. You saw a massive KRE rally. You've seen all the financials. JP Morgan is trading at highs. I am curious. What would you do with cyclicals like financials here, trading at highs? Do you have a directional lean here, or is it just sell vol and be neutral?
I don't have a directional lean here. I would like to tell you that I think that there's some. I would like to tell you that I think that they're really rich. I don't have a directional lean. I mean, the whole market is a lot stronger, and I have not got paid for selling assets. Let's put it that way.
I agree. I really agree. It's hard. It's really hard to fade this market right now. But there's some part of me that thinks that the yield curve uninversion will be a potential sell the news event, very short term for financials. It's the exact opposite, that the market's already priced it. And I sort of look at the potential for a fade on financials on the uninversion of the yield curve is the way I'm looking at it. We'll see if it happens. Can I get one more in on you guys? I don't know if I still have you or not. All right, let's do another one. Let's do another one, which is gold. Gold is related, I think, loosely to government dollars in some way. I think we all understand that. 25.50 is where we were. We're fading it a little bit. We were at highs, down 1% here this morning. It's not just gold. I think some of the miners are a little bit weaker here today as well. Do you have a directional lean in gold? And if not, there was an opportunity to trade gold silver, but it seems silver's now back up to 30. It's closed some of that sort of rich opportunity. Is there anything here in your opinion? directional lean
I
on gold.
mean, it's got one of the highest implied volatilities on a relative basis. So we do have some gold positions on. If you're asking me if there's a political reason or if there's, going back to the theme of what your discussion is, I doubt it. I don't think so at all. If you're asking me, is gold tradable? The answer is for sure right here because the high IV rank. I'm not necessarily, gold's another situation for me where I'm not super bearish on it. I also feel like it's pretty rich right here. So I'm just short premium in gold, silver, and in copper, all three.
I agree.
I got a gold short position on too. I've been rolling up the untested side. I'm right here at 229. The stock is just under 230 in GLD. I've got basically the straddle on in GLD. So I'll have to do something soon in September, move it to October. Gold's been a battle.
I'm with you. I actually think it's rich here too. And I think everybody and their moms thinks this thing's going crazy to the upside on the cuts. And some part of me thinks, again, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news opportunity. You could see some weakness in gold.
I couldn't agree more, Victor. I think gold is gold, just like bonds. Like you're seeing a little bit of the bonds being overbought today. I think you're going to start seeing where's gold right now?
It's down about
$23.
$23.
Yeah, it's a pretty big down move. And like I said, I think a lot of commodities got to the point where, you see the euro down today because it got overbought. You see bonds down today because it got overbought. You see gold down because it got overbought. And then there's other things, I'll find them. I'm not looking, are a little rich because they got oversold. And that's why I'm so confused by stocks, because if you think gold's overbought, you think bonds are overbought, what are stocks?
Just getting started.
Yeah, Gilded Age, Tom.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I think they're rich too, but they're it's so hard to bet against them right now, which probably means we're getting close.